Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what side of the world you're in. I'm HalfLifeSistah, and this is my hubby Wolf Kane.
What's up, everybody?
And welcome to Sister and a Wolf reaction video, Love It or Hate It.
Okay. I don't even know where to begin on here. Okay. A lot of people have been asking us, where is the Iron Maiden?
I know.
Funny story. We actually uploaded the second reaction video we ever did. The very first metal reaction we ever did was Iron Maiden.
All right.
It was The Flight of Icarus. It was a Love It or Hate It episode, and
I loved it.
You loved it.
I loved it.
And unfortunately, we had to take it down because it was one of our very early reaction videos. We just started the channel. And, some of the things that came out of my mouth were a bit problematic. So we took it down.
So refined now.
I am getting better as we go along. But it's funny, you have thoughts in your head, but when you're actually supposed to articulate them to a lot of people, you actually have to give your thoughts way more thought. And you have to consider everyone's feelings and where they're coming from. Also, I was a bit ignorant, if I'm being honest.
Well, yes, baby.
Because even though this metal journey is for her, I've re-explored parts of metal that I've completely closed off. Power metal is something that I've just went ahead and ignored because it wasn't for me back in the day.
Right.
I've given myself the necessary context to actually be able to enjoy it properly. I've given myself the education that you're getting as well behind the scenes, because there are people who like power metal, and I need to understand why.
Of course.
And in my pursuit of understanding why, I've been able to enjoy it more as well.
Of course, my love, yes.
So that's why I keep saying context is so important, because when you understand why a particular sound is created, and later on when we do a baby metal reaction, context is super important, because that can go sideways so easily.
All right.
But for Iron Maiden, Christ, where do I begin? Saying a band changes your life is kind of a strong thing to say.
That's very,
I can honestly say Iron Maiden has, if not changed my life, shaped my life. Because
shaped your life.
Yeah, you've got all these bands who are singing love songs all day long.
Right.
Up the butt. I get it.
Right.
Love is great.
Right.
But Iron Maiden, from a subject matter standpoint, history, life, death, religion, lore, and also whatever movie they happen to be watching at the time. They'll make songs about movies that they happen to be watching. So, just covering
the basis of life,
so much subject matter, hobbies
life
that they love,
Yeah.
and so much more interesting than just the constant love song stuff that was coming out.
I can appreciate that.
And a lot of the songs dealt with life and death in a very beautiful way, and it forced me to confront, when I was listening to Iron Maiden, I was at that stage where you realize that your parents are going to die one day.
Wow.
And you're like, oh my God. I think did you ever have that when you were a kid? Did you ever get to the point where you realized death was a reality that we all were going to face?
Yes, of course. That, yes.
And did you go through like a mini crisis?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I think everyone.
Is there anyone who doesn't? Right?
Yeah.
Iron Maiden forced that on me at a moment where I'll be honest, I wasn't ready.
Okay.
And I was still trying to grip the infinity of the universe and everything. And Iron Maiden's lyrics, particularly the Seventh Son of the Seventh Son, the song we're to hear today is off of their 6th album. Okay. It came out in 86, I want to say.
Oh, throwback song.
Let me check my 86. Yes.
Okay.
And this album came off of they just finished touring for almost 400 days straight, all over the world. And
you guys don't like sleep?
Dude, Iron Maiden is like one of the best touring bands on the planet.
How so?
Well, first of all, they're international.
That's wonderful.
Okay, they're international in the sense that they are how many bands do you know had a #1 record in 23 different countries, including places like Afghanistan and the Middle East and places like that. Seriously.
I don't know about bands, but I know a person like Michael Jackson has.
But that's what I'm saying. You can talk about someone on a level like that, but we're talking about a metal band.
Right. That's epic.
You know what I mean? It's like, and Iron Maiden, we'll go into the history of Iron Maiden and the new wave of British metal and their influence and all that stuff. And we'll also go back to some of their earlier work and how they came up. That's a topic for another day. All you need to know right now is Steve Harris is the bassist.
Okay.
And he is Iron Maiden. Okay. It's his
The
brainchild.
bassist, really?
Yes.
Okay.
And so, like we spoke about with Megadeth being a lead guitarist type of band.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Even though Iron Maiden has impeccable lead guitar work, it has some of the best bass-led music you'll ever hear. And you'll hear that lovely galloping. You'll hear that in the background through the whole song, and it's just delicious. Absolutely delicious.
Okay.
So it's not a bass band like Primus or something. Primus is a bass band.
Okay.
But it definitely puts forth of equal weight all of the instruments. Okay. So it doesn't, just use bass as some sort of something just to keep the song going.
Like an accent.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's not just a backing track.
So the bass is what carries the song for the most part.
No. Well, that's the beauty of Iron Maiden.
It doesn't carry the song.
Every member of the band carries the band. Okay. The Bruce Dickinson, the singer. Right. You've heard him on Flight of Icarus.
Okay.
His vocals. What's interesting is, and again, we'll delve into it deeper later on. But when the band first started, they had a different lead singer.
Okay.
So they had 2 studio albums, and the singer was good.
Okay.
The singer was good.
Okay.
Problem is, he was a drug addict, raging drug addict. So they simply could not keep him in the band.
Right.
Bruce Dickinson was in another band at the time. Steve Harris chose him because he reminded him of an air raid siren.
Oh, really?
Okay.
That's the way he sounds when he sings, right?
He literally can his voice is so big, it reminded him of literally an air raid siren, and that's the sound he was going for.
Gotcha.
Very different from the first lead singer. We'll experience some of their music because
he was that missing piece to the puzzle, right? That
he was more of like an evolution.
Gotcha.
Because I'm not sure if they would have gotten rid of the original singer had he not been such a raging drug addict.
Gotcha.
Because he was good. He worked in the band and he worked well in the music. When you hear some of the original stuff, you'd be like, yeah, this is pretty dope,
All right.
But Bruce took it kind of to the next level. It's kind of like AC/DC. The original singer, before he died, was great.
I'm sorry.
And then they replaced him with someone who wasn't designed to replace him vocally, but to take it to the next level.
Okay. I'm sorry. I thought about something. Sorry.
Okay. What happened just now?
I thought about the guy who's always kicking his feet up when he's on the stage.
Yes.
I thought he was a singer. I'm so silly.
No.
But he's not. He's just what is he?
He's the
guitarist. Yeah.
But he
stole the show from me all the time.
But he is AC/DC. Angus Young, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All right. You mentioned how much you liked the picture. You thought it was cool as hell.
Oh my God, this picture I think is one of the dopest, most badass pictures I've ever seen for a heavy metal band.
There are so many levels of genius to Iron Maiden that it's a bit overwhelming, but I'm going to try to digest it for you a little bit. Okay, that person you see right there in the muscle, sinew, corpse-like figure, okay, that's Eddie. That's their mascot. Okay? He was on every single album from the very first one.
Oh, you got your covers.
It was a concept. And I just wanted to show you this because this isn't the first album. This is actually their third album. This is the first album with, can you guys see that there? There's too much shine.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I'm holding up the number of the beast. You can't really see it because of the shine. So there's Eddie. See, in Caught Somewhere in Time, the song we're going to listen to, it's a kind of a futuristic song.
Okay.
So they've got him in futuristic outfits.
It totally feels that way.
When they came out with their third album, the first one with Bruce, their new singer, it was The Number of the Beast.
Okay.
And it was based off of a dream. And what's funny is you look at the cover, you see Satan is controlling like a mini Eddie, down there.
Oh yeah, okay.
He's pulling the strings.
That's so cute.
But do you see that it's the big Eddie who's really pulling the devil's string?
Gotcha.
You see the level of attention there? Like the devil thinks he's pulling the strings, but it's actually Eddie. Super cool.
That's what's up, yeah. It's dope.
Extra side note is that people thought that Iron Maiden was a satanic band because of this
the image.
single song and single cover.
Oh my gosh, people stop.
we didn't have the internet, so we had no way to know.
Right.
As their albums progressed, so it started off simple, and then I'm holding up Peace of Mind here. And do you guys remember this when you? I just don't get to enjoy this anymore because now we have everything on MP3s and on a computer.
I know. I'm so glad I make you throw those away.
I've been holding onto these forever, and they take up so much space. But I knew one day I would need them for something, and here we go.
Oh my goodness!
But look how so Peace of Mind, right? They've got Eddie in the straight jacket.
So this is always Eddie, the guy who's in the front with.
It's always Eddie.
Really?
And he has 1,000 different faces. Whatever it's based on whatever the song is.
Gotcha.
And the artist Derek Riggs, I think it is. I'm gonna find it on the next one. But look.
Oh wow, this is a fun picture here. See if you guys can see that.
Yeah, you see, so that's Flight of Icarus, right? So you see that there's like a sleeve for every song, and you've got the lyrics to the song.
Oh, this is what they did back in the day. They don't do that anymore.
Right, and look.
Oh, I love that.
Look at the Flight of Icarus. You've got Eddie flying near the sun. You know what I mean?
That's so beautiful.
The guy, I need to remember his name because he's the one who does all the art for Iron Maiden. Yeah, Derek Riggs. Is that what I said?
I think that's what you said.
Oh, my memory is on fleek. Derek Riggs.
Finally.
So he's doing, for every song, you've got the lyrics, you've got pictures that relate to the song, and it almost starts to feel like concept albums.
Gotcha.
They never really made concept albums in the sense that the album had one theme from beginning to end,
Right.
but they would take a few songs and they would make it feel like a concept album because of the art.
Right.
You see how they have a song called The Trooper, which is about soldiers fighting, and you've got Eddie here with the British flag, and he's got the trooper, the soldier outfit on. And so every song has like this backstory and this lore to it.
But do any of the albums actually coincide with the other? You know what I'm saying? Like, do they?
No, they're all individual. They're all like little masterpieces that
so
you get to explore and you go on an adventure.
Gotcha. That's so brilliant.
And the part that ended up flooring me was the Seventh Son of the Seventh Son, which is the seventh album. Seventh Son of the Seventh Son, seventh album.
Right.
And when we get to that, we'll talk about how it changed my life and how it affected me.
Okay. Now, I know that you've always loved Iron Maiden. I never knew why. Never got into it, but I'm excited.
There's so much.
I'm
you
learning
get to
so much
geek
about
out
my own
on
husband since we've been doing this. It's awesome. I think we never thought to discuss before.
Yeah.
I feel bad.
Power Slave. Look at this. So
that's
Power
so
Slave
cool.
is an Egyptian themed album.
Okay.
Okay.
Some people. You see that?
It's chromed out.
I know.
It's chromed out, yeah. But I mean, they fans know, and then you could always Google it, I guess.
Oh, you guys would absolutely know. Yeah, I'm trying to show you. Some people probably already.
You see that?
Oh wow.
Do you remember that? This poster right here, does that look familiar?
That looks familiar, yeah.
My door?
You had it on your door. Yeah.
I had
Yeah,
from
you had it
floor
on
to
your door.
ceiling, I had Eddie breaking through the door, plastered on my door in my bedroom.
Oh my gosh.
I missed
Way
that
back
poster.
in the day.
Yeah.
Jeez.
In the house I grew up in, old
Jeez.
school. But you see how every single 2 minutes to midnight, that's a song, 2 minutes to midnight is the apocalypse. This it's the clock that counts down our doom.
Okay.
So every time a war is looming, or every time our presidents or our leaders are fighting, or the nuclear, we become closer, that clock gets closer and closer and closer. As of right now, today, I believe we are at 3 minutes to midnight. The thought always is if once we get to 2 minutes to midnight, we're pretty much close to the apocalypse. It's pretty much almost probably going to happen. And this somewhere in time, this futuristic picture, there are so many Easter eggs in this thing. It's
Really?
insane. So you see the time. We have a bigger picture on the side here. That you're looking at her desktop, and we're looking at the screen here. Do you see where it says 23:58 right there?
Yeah.
That's 2 minutes to midnight.
Okay.
All right, so that's in reference to that
gotcha,
song
to the
here.
song. Right. Oh, okay, gotcha. So what about this? I'm gonna try to find something. How about the thing with wings like an angel up top? Does that represent anything?
Flight of Icarus?
Oh, that's really?
Yeah. And do you see look in the background? Look.
Yeah.
Far back. What do you see?
Pyramid. Oh, that's this.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I love stuff like that.
And on Eddie's chest is kind of like the artist's logo, like his signature.
Gotcha.
And of course you've got the band down there on the right, on the bottom left. And this is kind of like on the right here, it's kind of cut off, but you see where it kind of says Eddie Lives.
Uh-huh.
That's a poster referring to their original album. Just tons. If you go little by little, even in those little windows, even in Eddie's eye,
I love
everything.
Stuff like that.
Yes,
yeah.
The street that he's on is 22 Arcadia Avenue, which is from their off of the Number of the Beast album, 22 Arcadia Avenue. So just full of Easter eggs. Just sit there and you would listen to the music and you would watch this cover art. And I just don't know a lot of bands who put that kind of
effort and
thought and beauty into
some real
their
passion
music.
right there.
Just gorgeous.
They're like
How can I throw this away?
Of course not. I'm glad you didn't throw it away. We were trying to make room years ago. I mean, I'm like, get rid of this stuff. So you store it somewhere else. But they're not just musicians or people that can sing and play instruments, but they're also artists.
Yes, they're intellectually interesting.
Yeah.
They are curious.
Yeah, indeed.
All their songs explore subject matter, historical context, religious context, lore.
Right.
It's all fascinates them,
Right.
All of them are different backgrounds. Nico, the drummer, that is I believe a Christian. Dave he comes from like a rich background, and he sword fights and he's a pilot, and they have a huge Iron Maiden plane that they travel the world in. That's when I say international touring band, they have their own Iron Maiden plane. Wow. They load it's specifically designed for them and their band. It loads all their gear exactly the way they need it to be loaded. It's not just a passenger plane, it's a cargo plane.
Really?
He drives it.
That is
and
insane.
They go from country to country traveling.
Wow.
Just what more can I say? But all right. So, I will shut up now. I worked up a sweat.
Yeah, I'm like, you want to, let me dab this off of you.
Go ahead, get my forehead.
Okay, baby, here you go.
Let's get ready.
Your eyes are kind of crying right now. Let me get you over here. There you go. Okay.
My makeup.
We're ready.
My makeup assistant is taking care of me? Okay. All right, so let's get our headphones in.
Yeah.
Let's get into some Somewhere in Time, some Iron Maiden. And of course, we'll be coming back to this band a lot because, as you can tell, it's a very important band to me.
Yeah.
All right, baby. You ready?
Let's do it.
Let's
I'm
do
excited.
this.
That's so beautiful. Oh my God! Okay, I like that. Uh-huh. Oh my God! Okay, I'm not going to I'm sorry. Oh my God!
This is the bass. Bring it back.
This is like, oh my God. The transitions in this song is sick. Dude, yo. Oh my God, yes! There's like a melody there. It's just...
Who is the melody? Is that Gallon?
Oh man!
Do you hear it?
I hear it.
Do you hear the bass?
Ooh. Oh my God!
Nico on the drums.
Wow! Oh my God! It was. Oh my goodness! Oh my God!
Take these out, baby. So, just your average Iron Maiden song.
Give me a second to just really fully absorb that's what I just experienced.
No big deal. Just your average Iron Maiden song.
Holy crap!
You got to excuse Iron Maiden. They toured for 400 days. They were a little tired. So when they made this, so.
Oh my God! You know, I don't think I've ever heard, and I have virgin ears.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of artists, bands that I've yet to hear.
Yeah.
But I would have to say that by far, that to me, I don't think I've ever heard a band move so effortlessly through transitions.
Mm.
And I mean, this is for me, again, I have virgin ears, right?
Mm.
Give me a second, please. Hold on.
Preach, sister, preach.
I don't have a whole lot to compare it to, but based on what I've heard, that was to me the most intricate type of structure of a song, and the way they were able to go from one, how do you call it, tempo? Is it the tempo that I'm talking about? Because I don't know how to explain music. How they were able to jump from one fast pace and smoothly, effortlessly go into the next, and then there's this melodic feel, yet there's a heaviness with it. Mm-hmm. I've never heard anything like that before. Am I making any sense?
The word I like to use is energy.
Energy, okay.
Iron Maiden has an energy, which may be why you compare it to power metal, because power metal, of course, has an energy. But do you notice there's a... And I hate using the word maturity. I just don't know what other word to use.
Why not? Why do you hate using that word, maturity?
Because it suggests that power metal is not mature, and that's not what I'm trying to say. So that's why I don't feel like it's a good... But to me, it's like Iron Maiden is the daddy, and the power metal are the children. It's like...
Okay, stop right there.
No, it's just that they're all born from that, But Iron Maiden, from a lyrical standpoint, right? This is a fantasy song, right?
Right.
About science fiction and time travel, right?
Right.
But they write it in such a non-fantasy way, in such a way that almost makes you ponder life and reality. If you had a chance to choose a time to live, a time to lose, it's like, you know what I mean? It gives me goosebumps because it makes you think of mortality. It makes you think, if you can go back in time, would you change anything? If you know, they're pondering these questions as opposed to just the fantasy of it, And then musically, you see where they're at, of course.
This is in the 80s. It's crazy.
86, yeah.
And about that.
Do you see when you ask me, does the bass hold the band? No, you can see every single
instrument. You were able to hear everything. Yeah, you were able to hear every instrument.
How do you have 5 instruments front and center of equal weight?
Equal weight, indeed.
It's almost bizarre.
Because while I love bass, and while I'm hearing and appreciating and absorbing that bass, right? Mm-hmm. I can still hear the drum. I can still hear the hi-hat, and all of those instruments together combined, just so beautifully made.
It's like when you take your focus from instrument to instrument. Yeah, you could almost drown out the other instruments and just listen to that. On yeah, exactly. And then you can switch your focus to the next, and they're all there.
Yes, 100%.
And I noticed you particularly reacted to something that Iron Maiden does a lot, which is when the came in, but then it suddenly sounded like it doubled.
Yeah, something
that's because it doubled. The guitarists played together. Okay. So you play the first riff with the guitar, and then the other guitarist comes in and they play the same riff together, really, and it just adds to the emotion of the song and to the energy of the song. It builds. Yes, it builds.
Jeez. Oh my gosh, my loves. You guys hit the nail on the head on this with this one.
So obviously I don't have to, I feel like this question is unnecessary, but love it or
hate it. I love it. I love this song.
I mean, at this point...
How could anyone hate this song? I thought that when you did that one reaction to Iron Maiden, like I said, I loved that song. And I don't know what power metal is. And based on the comments we had in that video, they interpreted Iron Maiden's sound as power metal. Mm-hmm. Now, having heard a few power metal songs since then, I would say that they do have that sound and that feel of the power metal.
Yeah, it's the influence we talk about.
Right. So, I mean, if you were to ask me if I didn't know any better, I probably would say that Iron Maiden was a power metal band. Yeah.
Well, power metal has to become a thing in order for them to be one.
Right.
So at the time, they were the new wave of British metal. And a lot of the new wave of British metal, you're going to notice, has elements of power metal in it. Yeah. Because that's where a lot of power metal was inspired from. When you listen to Judas Priest and when you listen to Dio, you're going to hear power metal.
Gotcha.
A lot of it. So yeah, it was definitely inspired.
Right. And I'm still trying to understand, or how to be able to differentiate between a power metal song and Iron Maiden, new wave metal. You know, I listened to a song the other day on my stream on Twitch, and what song was it? I can't remember.
Yeah, Sabaton.
Sabaton.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that song.
Yeah, well, we're gonna start posting like these short little reactions that you do on Twitch.
Okay.
Because
let's do it.
Again, not a lot of you are still on Twitch, so you're missing some of the reactions she does, and they're kind of spontaneous.
Yeah.
So it's hard to know when she's gonna do them, but in case we're gonna call it in case you missed it.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna start posting random things that I think are pretty cool from her Twitch stream. And definitely join her there so that you can catch them live because it's fun live.
Come to me, I'm waiting.
Yeah, that's how you support her. We don't monetize this YouTube channel. This is for fun. This is for you guys to get to know her. But the Twitch is how you can support her and keep her doing what she's doing.
Yes.
That's her hustle.
Thank you in advance. Well, I guess that does it for this reaction video. I enjoyed myself, Wolf. Great dialogue. You know what I'm saying?
Same.
All right, babies. Now, if you like this video, please do not forget to thumbs up and comment below. And absolutely do not forget to subscribe to our channel.
And as always.
Yeah, as always.
Keep it metal.
Keep it metal, metal forever, yes!
They have a formula that they've created that they've never diverged from.
Mm-hmm.
And that formula has worked from day one when they did the Killers album, and it's only improved and perfected over the years. And after 40 years, they are still one of the greatest metal bands because of that formula. We always talk about what happens with Metallica and their music and their sound or whatever. And people can evolve, sure. But when you've perfected a formula of sound,
right,
that you don't have to mess with it. You don't have to. And of course, they've had that moment where they thought maybe they needed to change to stay relevant. But the thing is, you don't. And I think that's what we learned over the years with bands like Slayer and stuff is you don't have to compromise your sound,
right,
because that's what brought us here in the first place.
Of course.
The idea that you have to change it to stay relevant really doesn't make sense if you really think about it. If you're making good music and that formula works,
right.
why would you need to change it?
Well, I don't see anything wrong with you being, deciding at some point to switch things up a little bit, to add a little more variety to your sound. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah,
but to walk away from the core of who you are as a band and sound, I would say, or your core sound, could be problematic.
Okay, maybe y'all aren't going to agree with me, but I think that when you want to so dramatically change your sound, go ahead and just start a different band. I'm serious, because
what's the gentleman from Slipknot, I think his name Corey, he did that.
That's the thing. If you're such a creative genius, that you cannot be contained in a single band. Right. And this happens all the time.
Yeah.
Do your separate work, and this happened. Look, Bruce did a solo album. It's doable and it makes sense in this context. If you're Iron Maiden, you should be Iron Maiden, and then if you want to do something completely different, doesn't it make sense to just make a different band?
No, I think it makes sense to do whatever you want to do whatever feels right for you.
Well, when we get to Megadeth, I'll expound a little more on what I'm talking about, because part of the reason why Marty Friedman, which is the guitarist for Megadeth, left is because of the change of sound. He didn't like the direction that Megadeth was going sound-wise.
Okay.
So he left and he did his own thing.
And that's fine too.
That's what I'm saying. So it has to be all the members of the band have to have input. And there are eras in Iron Maiden that have, there's 4 significant eras in Iron Maiden. You've got the one with the original singer.
Okay.
You've got the Bruce era. There was a moment where Bruce was not allowed to contribute the way he wanted to.
Really?
So he left the band.
Then I would absolutely leave the band as well.
And he went solo, and they had a new singer for a while, Blaze Bailey, I believe was his name.
Don't tell me it didn't work out.
It's not that it didn't work out. Blaze Bailey is an amazing singer. Okay. Amazing.
Okay.
But Steve was also going through divorce at the time.
Okay.
And there was an attitude shift that
In
you
the
could
entire-
actually hear in the music.
Gotcha.
There are still some incredible songs that you have to hear, like
Okay.
The Klansman and The Sign of the Cross. There are some really good songs that they did with Blaze Bayley, but you will notice if you're really an Iron Maiden aficionado that there's a weird sadness, a really weird slowness of the energy
So
kind
the tone
of
changed.
changed
Yeah, the
significantly.
tone. You can totally sense that. You can hear
Yeah.
that, of course.
But then Bruce, Bruce comes back, and his input is now he's a part of the band. Now, so I say the fourth era is Bruce coming back,
Okay.
and now they're like a solid band, and they're all contributing, and they're all respecting each other,
Okay.
and you could hear the difference.
Okay.
And to this day, they're still an incredibly relevant band. So you can't be a band for 40 years and not have some sort of turmoil, some sort of history.
Of course.
But all of it ends in beautiful music because they're just so damn talented.
Wonderful.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
My hair is all sweated out and stuff, Lost the volume because, that's what happens when you're rocking out to heavy metal music, you know what I'm saying? Please click the link below to see my schedule on Twitch and join me live and be a part of all the beautiful fun. Now, before you go, please don't forget to click that follow button. And if you don't want to miss out, be sure to turn your notifications on. But if you ever miss any of my streams, you can always watch them back with ease by clicking here. Thank you for watching, everyone. Please don't forget to follow, subscribe, like, and share.